Shalom and good evening. This is TV7 Israel News broadcasting to you from Jerusalem. And in today's top stories, the UN Security Council convenes a special session in which it rebukes Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's remarks in which the Golan Heights would remain under Israeli sovereignty forever. The fighting in the northern Syrian city of Aleppo is intensifying as in the past 24 hours, at least 30 people were reportedly killed, including some 8 children. Turkey announces it will take additional military steps against the Islamic State in Syria after suffering some 46 artillery and rocket attacks against its southern communities. The wave of violence, which according to Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is showing signs of dying down, has not entirely disappeared as sporadic attacks continue to plague Israel. An incident in the Kalandia border crossing, which is the main connecting route between the West Bank city of Ramallah and Jerusalem, was reported this morning, in which Palestinian men and women advanced towards border police officers and security guards stationed at the vehicular lane of the crossing, equipped with a knife. Police spokesman Miki Rosenfeld told TV7 that the officers at the scene called on the 2 suspects to hold several times. He said that when the 2 assailants failed to comply and continued to rush with knives visible in their hands towards the Israeli forces, the officers fired and neutralized both terrorists, as he put it. This is the first incident reported during the Jewish holiday of Passover, which is a time of heightened tensions between Israel and the Palestinians. During Passover, masses of Jewish worshippers attend the Old City's Wailing Wall to pray, as well as visit the Temple Mount where both biblical temples once stood. Non-Muslims are forbidden to worship at the Temple Mount as the ancient premise, known to Muslims as Haram el-Sharif and houses the Al-Aqsa Mosque, is a shrine which Muslims demand not to share with other religions, regardless of the fact that it is considered to be the holiest site for Jews. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, in a bid to keep the calm surrounding the mount, has promised to keep the status quo at the site, which is the Latin term for the way it was before the war, in which Jordan, based on the peace accord reached in the early 90s with Israel, has regained partial control of the shrine and became custodian of the site. Nevertheless, on a regular basis, several Jewish worshippers and activists seek to change the status quo, demanding that Jews would be permitted to pray at their religious holiest site. In an incident that occurred yesterday, clashes erupted between Muslim worshippers and Israeli security forces after police removed Jewish worshippers who violated the visitation rules. Police said that the tension began when Jewish visitors laid on the ground in what appeared to be an attempt to pray, which caused the Muslims at the scene to attack the visitors. Police responded with crowd dispersal means and the calm was restored to the site. Now to another matter, the United Nations Security Council convened last night for a special session in wake of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's declaration in which the Golan Heights would remain under Israeli sovereignty forever. At the end of the session, the council members voiced deep concern regarding the latest Israeli statements on the issue of the Golan and emphasized that the Golan was occupied Syrian territory. The Security Council stated, Israel's decision to impose its laws and jurisdiction in the Golan is null and void and without any international legal effect.
Council members expressed their deep concern over recent Israeli settlements about the Golan and stressed that the status of the Golan remains unchanged. The members also recalled the Resolution 497 decided that the Israeli decision to impose its laws, jurisdiction, and administration in the occupied Syrian Golan Heights was null and void and without international legal effect. The members further called on the parties to comply with the provisions of the 1974 Disengagement of Forces Agreement. The members reiterated the need for negotiations to establish a comprehensive, just, and lasting peace in the Middle East.
Israel's Foreign Ministry spokesman Emmanuel Nachshon told TV7 in response that the Security Council ignores the reality in Syria. Nachshon questioned which terror organization operating in the war-torn country does the UN Security Council expect Israel to relinquish its control to, noting that due to the war raging in Syria and the stability and security which Israel has established on the Golan over the past 50 years, the proposal that Israel would relinquish its control from the Golan is not reasonable. Now to Geneva, where the Syrian government, which is holding talks with the United Nations Special Envoy to Syria, Staffan de Mistura, announced that the last meeting was very useful and constructive, disregarding the fact, however, that the delegation which represents the Syrian opposition left the talks.
أستطيع أن أصف هذه الجولة بمجملها بأنها كانت مفيدة وبناءة.
Peace talks that began 2 weeks ago appeared all but doomed last week after airstrikes killed about 40 people in a crowded market in the rebel-held territory. The Geneva talks aim to end a war that has reportedly killed more than 500,000 people, creating the world's worst refugee crisis, and allowed for some extreme Muslim groups to conquer large swaths of land, including the Islamic State and Al-Qaeda. The point of contention in the talks is the fact that the Syrian regime is pushing for an expanded government as a solution to the conflict, an idea rejected by the armed opposition, which demand to oust President Bashar Assad. Meanwhile, the fighting in the northern Syrian city of Aleppo is intensifying, as in the past 24 hours, at least 30 people were reportedly killed, including some 8 children. The Syrian chief negotiator accused what he referred to as terrorism-sponsored states for being responsible for the deteriorating situation and said their interests was the reason for the escalation, directing his accusations to Saudi Arabia, Turkey, and other Sunni Muslim enemies of President Bashar Assad.
وقد لاحظنا تفهما من جانب المبعوث الخاص وفريقه حول قلقنا من محاولات الدول الراعية للإرهاب والتنظيمات الإرهابية التابعة لها لتقويض جهود الحل السياسي عبر كسر اتفاق وقف الأعمال القتالية والقيام بأعمال إرهابية أودت كما تعرفون بحياة العشرات من الأبرياء في العديد من المناطق السورية.
In related news, Turkey announced it will take additional military measures against the Islamic State in Syria after suffering some 46 artillery and rocket attacks from Islamic State-controlled territory in Syria towards the southern Turkish city of Kilis.
Elbette biz de hükümet olarak bütün imkanlarımızla Kilis'in yanında olacağız. Kilis'in Suriye ile olan 11 kilometrelik sınırına 18 Ocak'tan bu yana DAEŞ mevzilerinin bulunduğu yerlerden 46 roket atışı yapıldı. Bu saldırılarda onu kendi vatandaşımız olmak üzere 17 kişi hayatını kaybetti. 61 kişi de yaralandı. Buradan bir kez daha Kilis'e yapılan saldırılarda hayatını kaybeden tüm vatandaşlarımıza, Suriyeli kardeşlerimize Allah'tan rahmet diliyorum.
Kilis, just across the border from an Islamic State-held area of Syria, is housing an estimated 110,000 Syrian refugees and has seen dozens of casualties as a result of rocket salvos by the extreme Muslim group towards the Turkish town. Thank you for watching us. You can also watch us at TV7Israelnews.com or TV7.fi. For any comments, please send your emails to israelnews@tv7.fi. For more updates from Israel and the region, please join our Facebook page at TV7 Israel News. Keep praying for the peace of Israel and the peace of Jerusalem. I'm Jonathan Hassan. Have a Erev Tov, and we will see you again tomorrow at the same time.
In order to donate to TV7 Israel News, please follow these simple steps. First, press the Donate logo, located at the bottom left side of TV7 Israel News Facebook page, or on the Donate tab at the head of the page. Then insert the amount you'd like to donate, and fill in your credit card information. Just like this. And press Review Donation and continue. After reviewing your donation details, please press Donate to finalize your donation. That's it! Your donation is now complete, and an email with your donation details has been sent to your email address. You can also print your donation receipt by pressing the link here. Thank you for supporting TV7 Israel News.